Hello everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to maintain and set up SCIS GPT. So first thing that you want to do is you want to clone the repositories. So I'm using GitHub, so we will be doing exactly that. So we're just going to do git clone, right? And then we gotta clone the front end now. So I just cloned the back end. We're just going to clone the front end right now. Let's do that one. Now git clone right there. So now what we want to do is let's do the front end first. So what we're going to do is we're going to cd into front end, right? And then just ls to make sure we're in the directory, and we are. And then what we're going to do now is, here's what we want to do. We want to go to code dot, and what that'll do is it'll open Visual Studio Code in that specific directory, right? So now I'm going to create a new terminal. And I'm going to do this. Go to this command name. So do this command name npm install. And then that should install all of the dependencies required by this specific repository. So I'm going to clear this real quick. And now you will be given a .env file. But I'm just going to do this one. I'm going to copy it into here. And then what we're going to do is for the .env file, we're just going to paste it right there. So you're going to have this new thing called envvar. Uh-oh, I don't want to show that. And just rename it .env, right? And then now, if you type in npm run dev, this is how it will look like. So now it'll open up SCIS GPT right there. And now this is the working version of the entire website. So that is the setup for the front end. When developing on the front end, basically what you want to do is you want to use SCIS components as much as possible, right? This is what I'm talking about. If you go to this website called SCIS, it'll present you with a lot of components that are really helpful and accessible. So yeah, try not to use any like default like HTML primitives. Instead, elect to use SCIS components. And yeah, so for example, right here in the pages, so let's look at our login page, for example. So notice how we are using these form things right there, right? Those come from SCIS, right? The only like HTML primitive that we are using is divs. So that should be the only thing that we are doing. Also, global CSS is defined in this file, right? And we are defining it using variables. So whatever you do, whenever you need to do like a color, always reference from this one instead of using a Tailwind class to, like, let's say define like color right here, right? So color or background, and then do not do color like this. That is the wrong way to do it, and then it'll break the light mode and dark mode. I'll show you what I mean. So if you go to the SCIS GPT, right, it will break the color, and it'll also break dark mode and light mode. So that is something that you don't want to do, right? Otherwise than that, as long as you have your env and you are doing some stuff right here, I think you should be good. So let's just end this process right here, and let's just clear the output. Clear. So now let's start setting up the backend. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cd into backend, right, ls to make sure we are here. And then what we want to do is we want to type in code dot. And if you have Visual Studio Code, it'll launch the thing. Otherwise, you're just going to have to like cd into the terminal. So right now it's going to ask me to trust the authors in this folder, and I'm going to do that. So I'm going to trust the authors, and yeah. So same thing we did with the environment variables. So we have this thing right here called backend.env, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this right here, go into the backend, type in right there, envvars, and right here, we're going to rename this to .env, right? And then now we are going to do this. So if you press Command-Shift-P into VS Code, what we're going to do is we're going to type in select interpreter, right? And then now, since we don't have a virtual environment up, we're going to create one. So here's what we're going to do. Instead of conda, choose venv. That's good. And select Python 3.12. And then that should be good. And then use this to install the dependencies. So right now, what it's doing is it's creating the environment based on these requirements.txt. And these are all of the dependencies that this project is using to make this entire thing work. So once this is done, and it's almost done, we'll be able to start up the application. Just give it a second. Just a few seconds. Okay, so now it's completely finished, and now what we could do is we could open up a new terminal instance, create a new terminal, and now we could type in Python 3 main.py. And then after a few seconds, the entire thing should run. So now, in order to prove that to you, we are right here, and we're going to open this website. So now it takes us to this entire thing. This is the default message right here. So now, if you want to view the docs, we just go to this URL/docs, and then it should show us. And yeah, that's how you develop on the backend. So yeah, it's a nice and simple setup, and it also does logs right there. So yeah.